Welcome everyone to hockeyprospects.com's YouTube channel. I'm Jérôme Bérubé and I'm joined by Brad Allen. Hey Brad, how's it going?
It's going. For everybody listening, we're doing back to backs here. We're warmed up to say the least. The last one was what, 2 hours long, Jerome?
Yeah, we are recording a lot of content today, so obviously follow our YouTube channel. It's going to help us, grow the channel, and more people can see our work and our process, how we do things at hockeyprospect.com. So today, we're going to take a look at the Buffalo Sabres prospect poll. So we ranked our top 10 prospects. So we're going to discuss, Brad, what the Sabres prospect pool looks like. So let me share the screen here for everyone to see it. There you go. Top 10 prospect for the Buffalo Sabres, according to me and you, Brad. Um, all right, Radim Murkat, number one, not a big surprise. He's, as we speak, he's doing really well with the Sabres in camp. So not a huge surprise for us with him at number one. As you see, number two, Consta Elenius. So Elenius played last year in the AHL, so he knows he has played on small ice for a full year. So he's gonna, possibly challenge for roster spots this year, or maybe not at the start of the year, but maybe as a call up during the year. Devon Levi, one of my favorite goalie prospect that I've scouted, kid from Montreal. It's going to take some time in the AHL. I don't think the Sabres have a good number one goalie right now, so there's no need to rush him to the NHL. So he's going to be like, I watched him a bit in the playoff last year in the AHL, and he did struggle against Laval. So probably not as not ready right now. But his time will come where he's going to get his playing time at the NHL level. If I look at the list here, Noah Oshlin is a tricky one for us, Brad. Like, we like some part of his game, but he's he's not the biggest guy. And also, one thing about the Sabres, they have not shy away from drafting, smaller player. You look at Elenius being 5'11", Ostlund 5'11", Brody Zimmer 5'11", and there's other guys that they have draft like Rosen, Matthew Savoie, who they traded to Edmonton, like a ton of smaller guy. Very interesting approach to drafting. A lot of like 5'11" forwards. So we'll see. Like, you can't have too many of those on your team, but it's an interesting philosophy, I think, for the Sabres. But I think the prospect pool looks good. I think probably the two most underrated player are Brody Zimmer and Komarov, who a guy who I really like watching in the queue. Funny enough, both guys are very high compete, very smart, but both guys skating is a bit of the drawback here. But I think they have enough. And from what I hear, like, Komarov is having a pretty good camp with the Sabres. So I think he can be a really good shutdown guy at the NHL level. He's tough. He can play a lot of tough minutes. Um, Blocks a lot of shot, and he's underrated offensively. He's got some underrated part of his game offensively with his hands, his vision. Obviously, the skating is the drawback here. So um, it's an interesting top 10 here. Like I mentioned, the forwards being a bit undersized, but they're drafting a lot of big defensemen. You look at Murka, you look at Komarov, Novikov, even Sturback, even Adam Kebler. So they have guys with size to play on the back end. And obviously, you look at their NHL team with Dahlin and Power and Samuelson. Um, and also the trade they make to getting that defenseman from Utah who has lots of size as well. So it's an interesting top 10 prospect pool here, Brad. I don't know which player you want to maybe focus on here, but I think it's a really good prospect pool here. At least top 10 wise, like this, they have some guys here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. What's interesting to me is like Okay, Constellanius, he's short. Devin Levi is short. Noah Austin's short. Brody Zimmer's short. And then Kamarov is pretty big. Novikov's huge. Wahlberg's huge. Sturback's huge. Kleber's huge. It's like small, massive. So, to your point, it's very interesting to see how they're attempting to construct this roster with smaller forwards. So, Noah Austin, as we talked about in our other stylist segment there about his FCP generation. If you haven't checked that out, check out that series where we go on rants for like 2 hours on the Pacific Division. But basically, like, long story short, Noah Austin, like, his entire game is predicated off his elusivity. If he's not evasive, he's not elusive enough for the NHL, he cannot play in the NHL. One thing I will say is I do know some people in other organizations who are very high on him. Some people think he is like legitimately like a very underrated prospect. So for me, he's like the ultimate wild card, Jérôme. If he hits, then you're really talking, because Hellenius is there's no way Hellenius doesn't play. Like, there's no chance. We mentioned the lack of size. He's not very big. Hellenius is a very powerful kid. Yeah. Like, Hellenius in Liga, he was shot putting men 6'3" plus into the boards off of him, and just, he's very, very, very strong. So not worried whatsoever about Hellenius. Too smart and too strong relative to his size for it to be a concern. Obviously, Radim Murka is their top prospect for a reason. He brings one of the most unique looks to a back end. Like, if he really hits, like, Buffalo's back end is looking crazy. Like, it could be unbelievably good sooner rather than later. And it's one of the best reasons for actual hope. I've been to Buffalo a couple times this summer, and I will say I'm amazingly impressed with the fan base there. It's like there's no giving up. I don't know how they still have it in them to care about this franchise, but I'm hoping Buffalo can come through for them, because it's an awesome fan base there. They really deserve like an actual team with a run, and hopefully it starts happening sooner rather than later. But Murka, if he hits, will accelerate that massively. To Bedrone's point, Devin Levi, his 950 save percentage anomaly in the college was like, when I watched the whole season, it was the best since Hellebuck's run. And you peel back the layers, it was like, no, this goalie looks like he should be more in that 930, 935 range. And then he put up exactly that the next season. So I felt very comfortable with that. I couldn't stand the fact that he was rushed to the NHL. Like, he had no business. I don't care who you are. As a goaltender, look at Dustin Wolf. Dustin Wolf needed time. If Dustin Wolf needs time, every goalie needs time. That's how that works. So they basically had to reverse engineer this. So, like, what they should have done is what they're doing now. Bring in Alex Lyon, bring in Nagorgiev, bring in insulation, bring in an actual backup with experience, and allow Levi an opportunity to slow simmer in the AHL, get his 2 years in the AHL, get the experience of pro hockey, get used to the big thing about the translation from college to the AHL, or college to pro in general, for goalies is well, there's obviously massive differences across the board, but the single biggest difference is release point reads. Your reads of the release points are going to be altered because players are way more talented. You can't just jump a couple steps and just go through that process instantaneously. It does not happen. It's never happened. It never will happen. Devin Levi was so confident. He thought he could do it. The organization's responsibility is to let him know that that's not possible. They didn't do that. They ran with it. And now, because of that, they've had to, again, reverse engineer his development. However, I'm with Jérôme. He's still an exceptional goalie prospect. I know some people behind the scenes who honestly kind of given up on him. I don't agree with that. I think he just needs more time. Give him another year or two. I think he'll be a split starter with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in the not-too-distant future. The other wildcard player, Brody Zimmer, thinks he's 6'5". He's 5'11", thinks he's 6'5", workhorse of a player, super underrated skill set, built for playoff hockey, built for high-pressure hockey. He's one of those players who just makes life so much easier for his line mates, because he can actually set up his teammates, but he can also do the dirty work. He's got that multifaceted combination you're looking for on a line. And then Novikov is kind of a wildcard player for me, Jérôme. He's looked very interesting in some camps. And I'm wondering if he gets pushed out, though, because of the depth. It's difficult to see how that's going to
Well,
how he's going to hold down a third pairing role right now.
Yeah.
But he's a pretty darn impressive player at the 7th slot here. And then Anton Wahlberg is a very interesting, creative power forward. One of the defining qualities of Wahlberg is how creative he can be coming off the walls. He's not as streamlined as, say, Herman Traff, the Traffinator there, who we talked about on Anaheim segment. Doesn't have the shot Traff has, but in terms of his inventiveness and his willingness to try different things, it's I would say it's more high end. So that makes him a very unique power forward. And then Sturback, I would say Kleber and Sturback are very big wild card defensemen. Sturback is like, I don't even know how to characterize him at this stage, Drew. He's like, first of all, he's way better in international sweater. Like, he's the real version. If that's the real version, then he probably plays. If it's the version that we see outside of the international performances, then who knows? And Adam Kleber, I have not seen him in college. I can only tell you what I saw in the USHL, and that was that he was raw with a very good toolkit, defended at an average rate, but I heard that that's gone up another level, and there's not much there offensively. So you're looking at more like a 6'6" shutdown guy, unless his offense like really developed in college there in the first year, and I'm unaware of it.
Yeah, just give him time. He's 6'6". He skates well enough for that size. He's physical. He blocks shots. There's a chance that he ends up being an NHL player down the road. Before we finish on Buffalo, just gonna mention about Merca. Like, we had him 8 overall last year, and one thing we mentioned about him was we wish he was a bit more meaner, a bit more mean on the ice. Well, watching him a bit in training camp in Buffalo, every highlight that I see is him getting into scrums with NHL players and not backing down, and actually like being the one who's starting this. So the physicality has been good, and that's awesome. That was like probably the only concern we had about him, and we're still ranking A because we love that player so much. But if he was a really mean physical player last year, he probably wouldn't be 8. He'd probably be like closer to 5 for us.
For sure,
yeah.
The other factor that you just mentioned, I'll just briefly say, is like unpredictable nature of scouting. You ever want to see it? We said the exact same thing about Owen Power in his draft year. What's the one thing that's really missing? He's not a mean-spirited kid. There's no vinegar in him. That's a problem. Well, it's still a problem.
Yeah.
With Merca, +1, he's already fixed it. How are we supposed to predict it? We can't. Welcome to scouting. Welcome to pain.
Yeah. All right. That will wrap up the Buffalo Sabres top 10 list. If you have like a different opinion, or you agree with us, or you have any question, just don't be shy. Ask us in the comment section, and we might answer some of those questions in a future episode, or we might just answer you on the comment section. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll be back for the next episode where we're going to talk about the Calgary Flames. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you pretty soon.
Thanks everyone.